so much, Fantastic Plus, for being our channel sponsor. Go check it out. It's an amazing app just for kids. Thank you again. Uh, Pete, we're back, my friend. I need to ask you, what is Mad Minute? That's a term that you used quite often.
Yeah, Mad Minute's just a communication plan, and here's the funny thing: there's also a Mad Minute in all kinds of things. Also in like news reporting, if you're going to meet with somebody, a protected source, right? Because it's the same kind of thing. Sales has a Mad Minute, but basically what it is you have your basic plan that like I'm going to meet Bruno on every third Tuesday of the month, right? Unless it's dangerous to do so, because I don't want you to be exposed or I don't want to be exposed. And so we'll communicate first, like, is it safe to meet? No. What's plan B? Plan B is we circle back in an hour and we meet at the alternate site. So instead of going to Larry's coffee shop, we're going to go over to Chris's strudel shop. And we go get strudel instead, right? Because we just need some time to shake off something. And then maybe it's like, no, what? We're going to go to our alternate site, and that means that we're not going to meet today at all. We're going to meet on Saturday at the church. And that church is the spot where we go for our backup to our back. So it's stuff like that where you're communicating what's going on. Like, did you get a chance to run your surveillance route? Yes, I did, right? But you don't say those words out loud. You're like, hey, how's everything going today? Oh, everything's peachy. Or you might say, oh man, my back is killing me, right? That right there is a yes/no switch. Okay, no, your back's killing you. Oh, have you been to the doctor? And so the person, says, yeah, oh, you know what, I have an appointment for, and then that time comes up, right? And then that could be the communication. And they might say, no, I haven't been to the doctor yet. And I might say, I know a guy who's a doctor. I bet he could get you in today in about 2 hours, right? All of that is, we're talking about the actual meeting that we want to have. And maybe we actually go and set it up at a doctor's office so that when you go there and I'm there, it's like totally normal, right? You see how that works? And so that's how you build a Mad Minute in. So you're communicating on, is it all clear? Are we good to meet? Do we need to change anything? If so, where are we going? What are we doing? And we have a background of knowledge between the two of us, so we don't have to say the exact thing that we're doing at that time. So that's what the basics of a Mad Minute. It's just a communication plan to be able to maintain our relationship, but at a distance, so that we can take care of it. And maybe what we do is we get off that and go send emails. And here's a clever here's a clever way to communicate with somebody. You can take an email account, right? Let's say we make a Gmail account, and it's BRUCAST, at gmail.com, right? And in the BRUCAST Gmail account, right, I'll set up a draft message, and that draft message will sit there in drafts, and it's just me, and I write a line, and that's it. And then you have the same access to the same email account, right? And so you go into the draft one and you see my line, you read it, and you respond, right? Yeah. And so you can have this conversation that, is it compromisable? Yeah, maybe, but it's one line at a time, and you would have to always be monitoring it. And by the way, we can change password wherever we want. Okay, but Mad Minute is.
Pete, are you there? I think we lost connection for a second. Could you say something?
I am here. Yes.
Yes, you're back. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw on TikTok, like there nowadays there are couples who are cheating by using the iCloud feature on their phones. They just open the notes, and the other partner, like the other person, is also cheating. They also have the same iCloud account, and they just go into notes, in the share note, sure. And they do exactly that. I was like, my God, how sneaky are they? That's ridiculous. So they're using spycraft stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I suppose being someone who's unfaithful to their spouse or loved one. Yeah. I mean, you're going to use spy techniques. You're going to go meet at a hotel, and you don't want to talk about it in the open because your wife's right there. And so you talk in code right in front of your wife, right? Or your husband or whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, all of that, that's all tradecraft, all of that stuff.
When it comes to spy work, we've been talking a lot about those meetings. Like, who are those people that you had to meet so much?
Who's the target? The thing okay, so in the collection world, and again, like I'm using very specific cases here, right? So I want to spot and assess people, right? I want to spot, assess, recruit. And so I'm looking for folks that have knowledge for what I want, or they have access to a government entity that I want to crack into if I want to extract files or whatever it is. And so, like, let's say that I wanted to compromise the United States Congress, right? Well, I would go meet a staffer and start to work my way in. And I'm not in a rush because this is a long-term operation. If I crack into Congress in the U.S. and I can start, we call it exploitation. If I can start exploiting these contacts, well, then I'm going to be hugely valuable to my government, to my team, to my boss, right? So I'm going to just slowly and insidiously weave myself into that organization. People are going to get promoted. They're going to change jobs. They're going to work in another part of the system. I'm going to continue to meet people. And all of a sudden, I've got this double life where I'm this connected person in and around Congress, even though I'm not in it. I'm a foreign agent, right? But I also am doing something every day to help my country improve its condition. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's the dance, right? So how do you do that in plain sight in front of people? And all of that goes into this crazy world of who's running who. And then, by the way, you're always worried, have I been discovered? Does someone know what I'm secretly doing? And so you're always covering your tracks. Oh my gosh, I'm covering my tracks. People are going to see me cover my tracks. Maybe I shouldn't cover my tracks because people see me cover my tracks. They'll know that I have tracks. Maybe I should just go back to acting normal and just assume that nobody. And so you have this whole crazy paranoid loop where you're trying to decide what to do next. And you're still insidiously building this network the entire time. And boy, let me tell you, it's, the people that you try to meet are the people that you need to meet, and you don't know who they are. And usually, this is Pete's experience, you get introduced to them if you're doing the right thing. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to harm these people. So if you're the senator from North Carolina, I'm not trying to harm you. I'm just trying to get to know you. What do you need? How can I help you? Here's how you can help me if I ever need to ask you for anything. It doesn't matter. I may not even need to talk to that congressman. Maybe I need to talk to their chief of staff. And so now I'm two relationships away because I know the secretary for the chief of staff, and I just work my way in from there. And that's why I'm talking to that secretary. That's why I'm talking to the guy who delivers their bagels on Tuesdays when they have bagels. I'm getting to know all these people so that my presence is normal, and I'm using their access to the thing that I desire, access to Congress. So that's sort of an approach to whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. Like if you're trying to get into the Wuhan germ lab to understand what they're doing, you don't just, like I always say, you'll appreciate this, because I use kind of a crazy German accent when I do it. But the worst way to find out where the bombs are in town is to walk into town and go, where is it? Wo ist die bombs? You don't just run in and start asking where the bombs are, because nobody's going to talk to you. And I like to use a crazy German because you'd be terrifying if you were like this, here comes a Nazi guy asking me where the bombs are in town, shaking people down. That's what's going to come across like that. So you never ask for the thing that you want. But someone down the line is going to be like, hey, there's bombs here in town. Do you want to know about that? And by me, bombs? Gosh, no, you know what, though? That guy does. And now I can pass something off to the right authority, right? And not increase or challenge my condition. So I've done my job. I found the bombs without asking for them. I passed it off to someone who can deal with it, and I can still just be Pete, the guy who helps people, the guy who networks, the guy who knows the guy that brings the bagels into town. And so soon they start to come to me. Right? If I've done my job and they go, Pete, you're an expert in all things Iraq, as I talk to an Iraqi. Yeah, I know a lot about that. What can I do for you? Do you know this? Or how should I approach this? Now I've become, get this, if I've done my job right, I'll become the Iraqis' advisor. So that commander, that governor, whoever it is, they're like, hey, I need to talk to you. Can you come by today? Now, am I being run? Oh, I don't know. But I am in that spot where that governor or that general is like, get me Pete, he's my advisor. And if I've done my job right, we've exchanged trust, I believe them because I've purposely tried to make a relationship where that's going to happen. And then here's what I do. I do it right in front of my commander's face. And that my commander later on will say to me, the general asked for you like you were his advisor. What have you been doing? And I'm like, advising him, you know? And they're like, how in the world did you get that? And so that's my job, is to blow my boss away, let him see what I'm doing. So he's like, I had no idea. You like, I'll go to the same meeting as my boss, right? And I'll come back with totally different information than everybody else because I'm not doing what they're doing. And I'm better at what we're all trying to do than they are. It's not that I'm a better person or a better warrior, but we're talking in a room collection. Nobody in my unit is going to be better than me at that. Not at this stage of the game. I just know so much of it. So I'm going to walk into that room and more reliably pull out information that nobody else can get to. More reliably get that next meeting and go somewhere where they can't get to. People often, especially in my kind of collection, people often say, it's like you're looking for a needle in a haystack. That's where those bombs are, needle in a haystack. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm 2 fields over. It's a field of needles. And I just keep scooping up needles and putting them in my wheelbarrow, and I bring them over because everything I'm finding out, the commander is desperate to know, but didn't know that they needed to know it, didn't know they had access to it. That's how you use a spy in a tactical field collection, is figure out how to get that person access to people. They'll start bringing information, and that will help the commander better run their operation. That's what I do in a nutshell.
How would you say is the best and fastest way to build trust with someone?
Well, you have to test. If you don't test, it doesn't matter what steps you take.
Test?
And so
What do you
you're
mean by
always
that?
testing. Yeah, you test for trust. You know, like, have I earned this person's respect enough to have a meeting with them? Have they acted in a way that allows me to say I can elevate the risk level of our trust? Because